When you connect the dots, the light goes on, 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 the light goes on.
In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. Despite the advanced technologies of multi-layered, computer-generated images, NASA is still unable to remove bubbles in space. Bubbles in space. This summer, get ready for the revelation so unbelievable that only the most observant, perceptive, unbiased will figure it out. Bubbles, bubbles, bubbles in space. Bubbles in Space starts today at theaters everywhere.
When you put the puzzle pieces together, the world looks very, very different when you connect the dots. Because what the system wants to do right across society is get people to focus on dots, individual dots, a religion, family, job, football team, whatever. The idea is to keep humanity constantly bewildered, so we don't know where we are, who we are, what even reality is. But when you connect the dots, and so many of them, as we'll see today, have on the face of it no connection to some of the others, when you connect the dots, the light goes on, suddenly the picture forms. Suddenly the picture forms. Suddenly the picture forms. Suddenly the picture forms.
The outside shots they do are in pools. They're actually underwater, and this is confirmed by the fact that there's bubbles rising in the pool in a lot of their shots. And people on YouTube have dissected a lot of the ISS and other supposed space footage and all the space bubbles that are coming out of their helmets. Some people are even wearing scuba gear. They found that as well. So that they fake these zero-G illusions by being in water, by being in zero-G planes, and by being in harnesses in front of a green screen. And that makes us think that it's possible that out there in space you could just be kind of floating around like they show us in the movies. But as far as we'll ever know, as far as you or I would ever know, we go as high as we can in a plane or a balloon or a rocket, and we come right back down. It's all science fiction, science fiction, science fiction.
Dave Williams about to move out of the Quest airlock. Those particles that you see emanating from the airlock is said by the EVA officer Paul Baim in Mission Control to be particles of water from the crew's sublimators on their spacesuits. The suits are in good shape, according to the spacewalk officers here in Mission Control.
ETC. Stay to the airlock right now, and I'll get in config to get the wave feathers all hooked up, the safety feathers, I should say.
Dave Williams beginning the third spacewalk of his career.
The control system, the global control system, wants us to focus on a dot.
When you connect the dots, the light goes on.
Amazing. I'm here in Houston, Texas at NASA's Neutral Buoyancy Lab, the NBL. I'm here with Chris Hull. He's a Dive Operations Specialist 3, which means you're an instructor here. Yep. Now, Chris, tell me what this facility is, because it looks like a giant swimming pool, but not like any swimming pool I've ever seen.
Well, it is a giant swimming pool, but what it is it allows us to train astronauts to go outside and do EVA, which is essentially spacewalks.
When you connect the dots, the light goes on, the light goes on, the light goes on, the light goes on.
Hey everybody, Pete Brain here. I've been looking at some spacewalk footage, and I gotta tell you, it looks like they're filming in a swimming pool. That's what this video is about. Let's go. An object in motion will tend to stay in motion, right? And an object at rest tends to stay at rest. Now, this is supposedly on the ISS, which this could actually be a zero-G plane. It is in zero-G, but there is atmosphere in the room here. There's air conditioning and there's air, so the ball could be thrown off course. But if it was totally void of any atmosphere, that ball would go straight forever in a zero-G environment. Okay, I want to show you 3 things that I found looking around at some spacewalk footage. And these are things that cannot happen in the weightlessness of space and in a vacuum. And I want to stress the vacuum portion of this because in a vacuum, an object in motion will tend to stay in motion, yet these things are zigzagging and things are moving that shouldn't be moving. Imagine going in a car at 60 miles per hour. And you can stick your hand out the window. Well, your hand wants to blow into the back seat, right? Because the wind is so fierce, the atmosphere is so thick. So imagine at 100 miles per hour, what would happen? Imagine then at 1,700 miles per hour, what would happen? Your hand would blow off. Now imagine at 17,500 miles per hour. This is what they say the ISS is moving right here. 17,500 miles per hour. Well, in order for them to step outside for a spacewalk, there has to be a complete void of atmosphere. If you stuck your hand out the window of the ISS, moving 17,500 miles per hour up in space where they say they are, then you could have a sleeved shirt on, a long sleeve shirt, and it wouldn't even ruffle. It wouldn't even blow the fabric at all. Okay, so keep that in mind as I show you these 3 anomalies, okay? So I'm going to show you some clips of debris moving and changing direction and them displacing things by moving close to them. By moving their foot close to something, it moves. And I'm going to show you this is impossible. So here we are, supposedly on the ISS. This is from a spacewalk. And here's what is a piece of debris, or actually we know it's probably a bubble. Now, it just made a right turn. Do you see that? And I superimposed the swimming pool, the NBL, the Neutral Buoyancy Lab, where they practice. Okay, so you can see nothing can make a turn. There has to be zero atmosphere for them to step out of a vehicle moving 17,500 miles per hour. There can be absolutely no atmosphere at all. Not even ruffle a feather or a hair on their head if they were exposed, anything exposed. So right there is busted. It cannot make a turn like that. So every object in motion that's not tethered has to travel in a straight line. Here's another bubble. This is from a long time ago. Many of you have seen this already. Now they would claim it's a piece of ice or debris. It can't curve. It can't make turns. Objects cannot zigzag in a weightless vacuum. And then here's underwater at the Neutral Buoyancy Lab. And here's what you would expect because of the currents in the pool, right? There, that just made a little left turn. Did you see that? Also, the astronaut's causing a little drag as he backs up, and that pulls the debris. There's filtration systems. That's what we're seeing in the spacewalk. Sorry. That's the way it is. And here they are practicing. You know, with all the cameras going, you know, like 3 cameras, and yeah. So you still don't believe that this could be filmed down here and shown to us as actual spacewalks? Let's see Jonathan Bird's thoughts when he entered the NBL swimming pool.
Today's adventure takes me to the Johnson Space Center at NASA in Houston, Texas.
And I'm standing on the International Space Station!
And check out the oh-so-subtle smirk right there. Hee-hee.
I descend into the clearest water I've ever seen, and it looks like an underwater movie set, like an underwater movie set, like an underwater movie set.
Okay, this is a video of a spacewalk, and it's up some like 9-hour video. Anyway, I'm going to show you how this is part of how things shouldn't behave in a vacuum and in the weightlessness of space, right? In a free fall, which they're in the ISS, everything should go in a straight line, as I've already showed you, but also nothing can be affected by movement because there's no atmosphere to push. And so what I'm going to show you is his foot's going to come over here and push this little strap right here. Before his foot gets to it, the strap's going to move. Another impossibility in space. Because again, the foot is going to displace water. Okay, so watch this. Whoa, see that start to move? Right, let's zoom in next. Let's take a closer look. Now, that strap is going to move before his foot gets there. And that indicates that this stuff that they say they're training in the NBL, they're actually filming in the NBL, the Neutral Buoyancy Lab. They're in water because that strap has no idea, in a vacuum, that strap would have no idea that the foot is approaching because there's no atmosphere. But in the pool, there's water being pushed towards it. Boop, you see that? It already started to move right there. Boom, still moving. Boom, moving. Alright, let me back that up. Let's come down again. See that? He hadn't even got to it yet. Now, there's no way that'll be moving in a vacuum. That's got to be in water. There you go. Okay, let's go to the next. Here's another shot. See this line right here? This is going to move as well from this weird thing, whatever that's supposed to be. Boom. Now I'm going to show you. This one's not as easy to tell as the other one, but this one also, this line starts to move before it gets hit, if it even gets hit. Let's see. Right, see, here it comes. It's moving already. See that? Whoop. Whoop. It's moving. Moving. Let's see how quick. You can see it compressing right there. Up. Compress down. Up. Clearly hasn't touched it. It's got to be in water. There's just no other explanation for that, and just too much evidence supporting that. I think I'm going to do one more super zoomed. I kind of changed the contrast on this a little bit. Boom. Okay, let's back that up. I'm going to show you that that definitely moves before it gets to it. It moves. Go back, hasn't got moves. See it compressing down? Moves. Okay, I don't know about you, but that sure looks like, you know, that would be water being displaced by that thing, whatever it is, and it's pushing ahead of the thing and it's moving the wire. You know, that's what it looks like. And here's some more evidence of just how easy this is to fake. Okay, still not convinced that this is being filmed underwater. Here's some space footage and some audio, and then some audio from a couple of underwater cameras and some swimming pools so that we can compare the difference.
It's all science fiction, science fiction, science fiction, science fiction, science fiction.
When you connect the dots, the light goes on, the light goes on, the light goes on, the light goes on.
The control system, the global control system, wants us to focus on a dot. This is what it does in science with its specializations. You focus on one dot. And if you focus on a dot without peripheral vision, then you don't see how the dots connect, so you're completely in the dark of the bigger picture. You only see one dot within it.
Mama didn't tell me that the world is unreal. Imaginary story, lies and unreal. Live through the lies and the truth and fairy tale lies don't have a Prince of Wales. I never get told what is real and true. That's why I put truth out of the blue. Never really did. No one really cares what our heart get hurts. This world is nothing in that world to really exist. We merely burst reality and twist. With a vision and to fear my hold up that the world is a sport. So many things, the earth is the earth. When we want the lies get told in this world. No one really teases, no one really cares when our heart gets hurt. The world is a lie. Nothing is real. This world is a lie. There is nothing I can feel. This world is a lie. There's nothing is real. This world is a lie. There is nothing I can feel. This world is a lie. Nothing is real. This world is a lie. There is nothing I can feel. This world is a lie. Nothing is real. This world is a lie. Nothing I can feel. This world is a lie. Nothing is real. This world is a lie. Nothing I can feel. Je vous attends pas, comment? This world is a lie. Nothing is real. This world is a lie. There is nothing I can feel. Merci beaucoup. Merci.
The control system, the global control system, wants us to focus on a dot. This is what it does in science with its specializations. You focus on one dot. And if you focus on a dot without peripheral vision, then you don't see how the dots connect, so you're completely in the dark of the bigger picture. You only see one dot within it.